Hey everybody, it's Zombie Bones and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name's Sam, I use he, him pronouns, and I'm an autistic 18-year-old trans mask artist who loves all things art. I make rant videos, redesign videos, any other art videos that tickle my fancy, so if you like stuff like that, you can hit the subscribe button. Stick around to the end of the video for a fun little question to answer in the comments to let me know that you made it to the end. So today we're going to be doing My Little Pony Infection AU content. I do want to give a little epilepsy warning for the speed paint as there are a lot of flashing images, so if you're photosensitive or sensitive to flashing images, make sure that you skip this one. Maybe check out my 5 worst art advice videos because that does have a lot less flashing images. And we're just gonna hop right in. So my Little Pony Infection AU is called Parasitosis. Parasitosis is actually a mental condition in real life, but the Infection AU has nothing to do with the mental condition. It's just that it is a parasite, and parasitosis is the delusion that you are infected with a parasite, which I have suffered from in the past and was diagnosed with at 13. So I thought it would just be a nice little name for it, but I do understand that it is actually very serious and can be damaging. So in this video, I'm just going to go over the first 3 stages of the infection, and after that, you guys can go check it out on my Instagram or my TikTok. I don't have an art TikTok yet, but hopefully by the time this video is out, I will have one that is posting updates to this Infection AU. Though keeping up with an Infection AU and work and YouTube and regularly posting on my art social medias may not be the easiest. But I don't have to worry about that right now, okay? We're just gonna reel in and talk about stage 0. So stage 0 is the initial infection, and the notes that I have on the art and on my Google Doc about it are from Twilight's point of view at this point. So it's spread through spores, which she notices because Apple Bloom is infected despite having no bite marks. She believes it may be contracted through bodily fluids and maybe even infected water, but she's not entirely sure about this. She's just saying that to be safe. She also noticed with Sweetie Belle that a unicorn's magic is immediately nullified by the condition. However, there are very few immediate symptoms besides that. The only ones that she noticed were drooling and runny noses, as well as immediate paranoia, agitation, and aggression. And when Apple Bloom was infected by the spores from the patient 0, which you'll have to check out the AU to figure out who patient 0 was, that she completely lost control. She became very aggressive and attacked her 2 friends. And while she was attacking them, she couldn't have any control. She completely blacked out, and she could not remember what happened after this. It's noted that she does not remember anything before being brought to the hospital after they happened upon the body. I will be omitting who the body is, because once again, I want you to go check out the AU for that. Like I've said, spores, so that's going to tell you obviously the infection is fungal based, which is a really fun dose of body horror. I am a big zombie fan, so Infection AUs were really fun for me to get into. I'm really into Miss Gendered's AU on TikTok. He's doing a beautiful thing, or not TikTok, Instagram. He's doing a beautiful thing over there, so you guys should go check that out. I'll link it in the description below. If I forget, I shouldn't forget. I believe Pesterovia was the first one that made it big, but I didn't see that one. I'm kind of invested in My Little Worms, but I don't speak Spanish. My point is that there's a lot of really good Infection AUs out there, so obviously don't just check out mine if you're going to go check any out. Make sure you check out the other ones like My Little Worms if you speak Spanish or can translate it or know someone who can that would also enjoy that content. It's really fun. There are some issues with a split personality with Twilight that I didn't like because I do have DID, but there are some great ones out there. Like I said, Mrs. Gendered's great. And there's also Mirror Pool Moss, which is really good. So the next document that I worked on was phase 1, which happens 12 to 24 hours after the infection. We're actually going to keep talking about my AU now. So It started with just the bites, right, and the spores for apple bloom, but she noticed that apple bloom's infection was increasing slower than the other two girls at first. I say at first because in the next phase, she does end up catching up with them very rapidly and actually then progressing more rapidly than they were progressing. She doesn't have an explanation for this yet, but I do, but I'm not going to tell you because we will figure that out later in the story, and I want to keep you guys interested and not put all my cards out on the table. We're playing a little bit of poker with the story here. Got to keep a little poker face on and not get too excited. So, the other two, Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle, have visible darkened veins appearing, and their coats are starting to thin out. They are also drooling uncontrollably and complaining that it's warm now, which is hinting at hot flashes that they're experiencing. And during an altercation, Nurse Redheart was bit, making another patient for Twilight to observe. They're all still very irritable, paranoid, and violent, and every single time that they eat, they cannot keep it down. I forgot to also say that the trigger warnings for this AU were body horror, emetophobia / vomiting, needles, medication, suicide, and self-harm. So please just keep that in mind if you are going to check it out. She also noticed that Scootaloo was developing sipophobia or kibophobia. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's the fear of eating. She's terrified of consuming food. She's convinced that it is infected with a parasite and does not seem to realize that she herself is infected. That's not in the notes, but I just wanted to throw that in there for a little extra to let you guys have a little inside look. So what I have so far for the stages is there's a little bit of development between each stage. As you noticed, it started out with like simple bites. They were still lucid, but they were paranoid and irritable. And now in phase 2, or phase 1, I mean, they are becoming more irritable. They're still paranoid. And their physical symptoms are worsening as well, such as the uncontrollable drooling and stuff like that, lashing out more. And now with Nurse Redheart bit, there is no more medical staff that Twilight is close to that she can trust, but she is having to work with other doctors and nurses and volunteers to keep things, under wraps and to keep things proceeding smoothly. So the reason that I actually chose the Cutie Mark Crusaders as the quote-unquote patient zero, since they are the first one that Twilight interacts with. What is it? My cat's screaming. So the reason that I went with the Cutie Mark Crusaders as patient zero is because a lot of the times the patient zero is one of the main 6, and I felt like it would be very interesting to target their loved ones, like Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle being the sisters of Applejack and Rarity respectively, Scootaloo being very close to Rainbow Dash. I just felt like it would be a interesting concept to start with. It would definitely increase some paranoia even without being infected in some of them. Like, I feel like Applejack would immediately become very protective of her family because she's very family focused, and would very quickly become paranoid that all of her loved ones are going to get hurt. I just felt like it would be a fun idea to play around with. And also, I do want to shout out to my partner real quick about the vomiting part, because I didn't even think about that. I just thought that they would get afraid of eating until they got so hungry that they lashed out and ate someone else. But they said that the fear of eating could be from them not being able to keep food down, which I found was a very interesting take on it. So they helped me out a little bit with some of it because I like building worlds, they like body horror, and I like drawing body horror, but I'm not great at adding stuff to it to make it more believable. So, and stage 2 is where we really start to see the disease pick up. It happens 27 to 48 hours after the initial infection. And at this point, Apple Bloom has caught up with the others. And they all remain irritable, aggressive, and paranoid, but the paranoia does seem to be worsening, as well as the pupils being constantly dilated and colors fading slowly. I did forget to do that in the coloration, I'm gonna be real, but it will be present in stage 3 through 6 of them becoming less and less vibrant and becoming more fungi colored. So yeah. She thinks that their pupils constantly being dilated might be due to damage to the optical nerves. She's not sure how the damage occurred. How the damage occurred is likely the fungus spreading and growing and getting into their brain, because the cordyceps virus, which is a real life, or not virus, but the cordyceps fungus parasite, which is a real life thing that The Last of Us takes inspiration from, starts from really wherever but spreads to the brain to take control of their host, and I feel like that is how this virus operates as well. They are rapidly losing weight, and when eating they cannot keep anything down, not even water. And on the surface it seems that Sweetie Belle is taking it very well, but she has become incredibly violent towards nurses and volunteers. And they are continuing to complain about being hot to the point of desperation and begging someone to open a window. There are also symptoms of nosebleeds and oral bleeding, as well as rabies-like mouth foam forming, like foaming of the mouth. And that adds to the fear of eating because they are now afraid to even swallow, which is a symptom of rabies. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just started working on this like 11 p.m. last night. It's 9:46 a.m. the next morning. I drew all of these in one sitting, and I'm recording the audio after drawing phase 2. I'm really passionate about this, so y'all should see some updates on my Instagram at the very least if I don't get around to making that TikTok for either this specifically or art in general. I just hope you guys like this little idea, and if you like My Little Pony Infection AUs, I heavily recommend Misgendered's AU as well as My Little Worms. Those two have been my favorite. The Smile Virus is pretty good. Pestarobia, I think is what it's called, was the original, so please go show them some love over there. I know right now My Little Worms is on hiatus because of some mental health issues from the creator, because the pressure of their fans was getting a lot. Like, people were trying to pressure them to make more and more and more, and guys, just don't do that to creators, because that will make them not want to do it, like, because then they're going to be scared of letting you down with the next update or not being good enough, and it's not going to be their, top stuff. So what? My cat was screaming again. And so yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I'm really excited to keep working on this. The question of the day for you to put down below as the video comes to a close is, who is your favorite My Little Pony character? They may or may not be subject to a horrible death in my AU, unless it's Discord or Chrysalis, because it is canon that, oop, I can't say that. I hope you guys have a great day, night, or afternoon wherever you are. It's been fun talking to you, but the video is coming to a close. I'll see you guys in the next one, 2 Thursdays from now. The next video planned, let me check my notebook. The next video planned is a My Little Pony Main 6 human design video where I will be choosing 3 of the girls on a random spinner wheel and designing them as humans. So I hope you guys will be hyped for that video, and I hope you guys just generally have a great day, night, or afternoon wherever you are. Like I said, bye-bye!